Getting Mexican residency in 2026 has gotten harder. Financial requirements are up, interviews are more probing, and consulates are pickier about which income and investments they accept. What hasn't changed is each consulate still does things their own way. But if you go into this process with the right strategy, a little bit of patience, and a flexible mindset, getting a residency this year is still totally on the table. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact 5-step process that will take you from thinking about Mexico to approved for residency in 2026. It starts with step number 1, confirming you're actually eligible. Then step 2, creating a consulate strategy that fits your profile. Step 3, booking your visa appointment the smart way. Step 4, going through the visa interview feeling confident, not terrified. And step 5, getting canje right in Mexico so you walk out of the immigration office with your residency card in hand. This video also kicks off our 2026 Mexico residency series, where we go deeper on things like consulate selection, interview strategies, common mistakes, and more. If you're new here, my name is Gordon. My wife Aimara and I, we went through this exact process, and we help other Americans and Canadians get approved for residency without wasting months on the wrong consulate or overlooking the small details that could lead to denials. And with this video, we want to help you start your residency journey off on the right foot. So the first thing you have to confirm is that you're eligible for Mexican residency with this year's financial requirements. In most cases, getting Mexican residency starts by getting approved for a residency visa at a Mexican consulate in the US or Canada. This video focuses on the proving financial solvency route to getting that visa. But what does proving financial solvency even mean? Well, in simple terms, the Mexican consulate, they just want to see that you're able to financially sustain your lifestyle in Mexico by either proving that you have enough monthly income or savings and investments to fund your life there. An important clarification to start, there are 2 different residency statuses in Mexico. There's temporary and permanent. They're functionally very similar, but they do have different eligibility requirements. But for now, let's just see if you are eligible. And just a quick heads up before we get started, we are going to be presenting some ranges here, and that's because the consulates, they have their own financial requirements. So it does vary consulate by consulate. So here's what we're seeing for permanent residency. You must be able to show either 6 consecutive months of monthly income around $6,800 to $8,000. Typically, this is post-tax income, but that also kind of varies by consulates. The other option is presenting 12 months of savings and investments, around $273,000 to $320,000. That is the ending monthly balance that you have to show. Now, the much more accessible requirements for temporary residency are either proving solvency through 6 months of monthly income around $4,100 to $4,800 US, again, mostly after tax. Or the other option is using your savings and investments to prove that you have 12 consecutive months with a ending monthly balance at around $68,000 to $80,000 US. An important thing to say here too is that as of the time that we're filming this video, not all of the official numbers for 2026 have been released by all the consulates yet, but you can feel confident that they will fall somewhere in the ranges that I just presented. One quick watch out that you need to be aware of, it does matter what type of income or investments you present to the consulates. For example, rental income, 1099 income, those are often not accepted by many consulates. Also, if you are not retirement age, but you're presenting retirement accounts like a 401k or an IRA, those will also not be accepted by a select number of consulates. But we'll dig into that a little bit later in the video. For now, just know that if you are comfortably above the ranges that I just presented, that you are part of the group that is financially eligible for a residency visa. Unfortunately, being financially eligible doesn't guarantee that you will get approved for this visa. And this is where a lot of people win or lose, because it really depends where you apply and how you present your case. And that's what we're going to get into in step 2, building your consulate strategy. So this is starting to feel like a lot to take in, and you want this 5-step process laid out clearly so you don't have to rewatch this video or take any notes. Definitely check out our free 5-minute Mexican residency cheat sheet. It walks you through each stage of the process, from your visa appointment all the way to getting your residency card in hand, with a step-by-step overview of each key stage, typical timelines so you know what to do when, and things to watch out for at each step so you avoid common mistakes. You'll find the cheat sheet in the video description and also in the top pinned comment. So if you're excited to take real steps towards Mexican residency, definitely check it out, and hopefully we'll see you in Mexico soon. Let's get back to step 2. Okay, you know you're financially eligible, and now it's time to start thinking about which Mexican consulate you'll go to for your residency visa appointments. So the visa appointment is where you're going to present your proof of financial solvency, you're going to have an interview, and you're generally going to convince the consulate that your situation requires a residency visa. Most people start this process by asking which consulate is closest to me. And sometimes that works out fine. It did for me in Miami. However, if you want this process to be as easy and predictable as possible, the better question is actually which consulate is the best for my situation. So on paper, consulates follow the same general rules, but in practice, the way they actually choose to interpret these rules really does vary quite a lot. Meaning that what is a good consulate for one person may not be a good consulate for the next. And most of the horror stories that you hear about getting Mexican residency, including never finding available appointments or mysterious denials, this usually happens to people that just go into the process without a clear consulate strategy and just hoping for the best. So to win with the consulate strategy, you're going to want to research 4 things. Number 1 is, does the consulate you plan to go to accept the income or investment types that you will use to demonstrate financial solvency? Circling back to the beginning of this video, remember that some consulates don't accept things like 1099 or rental income. Some won't accept retirement accounts from folks who aren't close to retirement age. So you definitely want to double check that your consulate accepts your assets. The second part is you want to make sure that getting an appointment is actually feasible at your consulate. Some make it very easy, while some definitely do make it virtually impossible. The third thing you want to research is whether or not they really enforce having your financial statements verified, signed, stamped, or otherwise certified. So this is a rule for most consulates on paper that you do have to have your financial documents verified, but in practice, how they enforce it does differ. So if it's looking hard for you to get your documents verified, definitely don't go to a consulate that will require that. And finally, you want to know if the interview process at your consulate is kind of like a light touch, or if they're really gonna dig into the when, why, where, and how of your move to Mexico. If you're wondering how you would actually find the answers to these questions, it's not necessarily easy. It's not like they just posted on their website. But remember that we are building a Mexican Residency 2026 series on our YouTube channel, and we are going to have that deep dive video into consulate strategies. Once you've confirmed eligibility and created your consulate strategy, the next big milestone is booking your visa appointment. So you may be thinking, okay, great, booking an appointment, this should be pretty straightforward, but this is actually a part of the process where people waste tons of time, get super frustrated, and even give up on their journey to Mexican residency. And the reasons why are because there are so many different booking systems. So some consulates require that you email. There's also a Mi Consulado government system that some consulates use. Some require walk-ins. And if you end up reaching out the wrong way, you're never going to get a response. And on top of that, probably about 2/3 of the consulates in the US and Canada use this Mi Consulado system that I mentioned. And within the system, there are 3 booking methods. So one of them is a WhatsApp chatbot that is only in Spanish. The other one is a call center. And the other one is a very clunky web-based system. But this is actually not necessarily the hard part, that you have to navigate these different methods. The hard part is that consulates that use Mi Consulado have very specific dates and times for looking for visa appointments, and they disappear in a hurry. So if you're looking at the wrong time and don't really have like a search strategy, it's very likely that you'll never find an available appointment. So to help you guys out, here are 3 things you have to know about making a visa appointment in 2026. First off, you want to understand how your consulate accepts appointments, or what is like their booking channel. So if your consulate says that they take appointments through Mi Consulado, don't email them, don't call them, don't try walking in, use Mi Consulado. Otherwise, you're just gonna hit dead end after dead end. Number two, if your consulate does use Mi Consulado, definitely try to do some research and try to figure out their drop date. So again, when a consulate uses the system, they're going to release appointments on very specific days, certain times of the month, certain specific hours. So you definitely want to do some research and use that to your advantage instead of just searching 20 times per week at random times and never finding an available appointment. And the third point is just don't book yourself into a corner. So before making a visa appointment, make sure that you're going to be able to get all your financial documents in place, or you already have them in place. Some turnarounds are quite quick, so if you reach out to a consulate, they might give you an appointment the next week. So definitely be ready to roll if that's the case for you. Now, if you find yourself really struggling with making an appointment, just know that we do have a specific video on our channel about making a visa appointment. So admittedly, it's not very exciting to have a dedicated video on this, but if you are struggling with the process and you need some help to get unstuck, we definitely recommend checking this one out. So one final quick tip here, booking your visa appointment is really where the wheels start moving pretty quickly. So the goal here shouldn't be just booking any appointment. It should be booking an appointment within a time frame that allows you to be 100% ready. Next up is step 4, going through the visa interview with confidence. It's finally showtime. The visa appointment and interview is the major make or break moment. This is where you present your proof of financial solvency, you'll have an interview with one or more consulate staff, and they'll either approve or deny your application. So having approval-ready documents is definitely one part of it, but how to win at this stage is definitely being ready to nail the interview. Consulates want to be sure that your request for a visa really is supported by your situation. And what they're looking for isn't really like a Hollywood speech on why you love Mexico. In fact, saying too much can often backfire. And just another plug here, again, on our 2026 series, we're going to have another deep dive on what to say and what not to say and what to expect in the interview in a separate video. But for this one, we're just going to keep it a little bit higher level. But what you need to know about nailing the interview is that the consulate generally wants very clear answers to the following questions. Why Mexico? When will you move to Mexico? And where in Mexico will you move to? Now, all of your answers should describe how you would be better off with having legal Mexican residency. Also in 2026, be prepared for some more challenging questions. So one of those could be like, do you already have a place to live secured in Mexico? Or what do you think about gentrification in Mexico? Or how will you help improve your community? These are questions that are coming up, definitely not at all consulates, but you do want to be prepared for them. And I think just like a general takeaway is that you want to be ready for everything. And again, this is an area where consulates basically do exactly what they want. And the interview can change based on who's sitting in front of you that day. And even like the general rules or philosophy for that consulate's interview process can change overnight. But if you're ready for the interview and all goes well, then you'll leave that consulate appointment with a visa sticker in your passport. It will look like this. Soy Mexicano, way. So once your visa is approved, it's time to head down to Mexico to complete canje. So there are 3 basic things to know about completing canje the right way. Number 1 is that you have to enter Mexico within 180 days of receiving your visa. This is a very real timeline, so do not let it pass or you might have to start over. Number 2 is that you want to enter Mexico correctly. So when you enter the airports or cross that land border and you present your passport to immigration, show them your visa page and get stamped in as canje. Again, if this doesn't happen, it can definitely cause some issues. And the third thing is that you want to decide whether you want to work with a local facilitator to make an appointment at the immigration office here in Mexico to complete canje, or you can decide to do it on your own. The tricky part with doing it on your own is that you have to navigate making the appointment and doing the paperwork all in Spanish. So whichever route you take, the important piece to remember is that once you enter Mexico, you have 30 days to make an appointment to complete canje at an immigration office in Mexico. So with a good facilitator, canje is pretty straightforward. You just deliver some paperwork to the immigration office, you pay your fees, you put your fingerprints in the system, you take your photo, and at the end of the day, or at the end of a few days, you receive your residency card. Now, if you do it yourself, the process is basically the same, but of course there are some more opportunities for you to make mistakes versus a professional. We definitely recommend using a facilitator, but of course, at the end of the day, it is your choice. So one important thing to mention is that a lot of people kind of assume that Kanhei is another part of like the approval process, but it's really just more of a formality where they put your information into the immigration database. There's no additional review of your financial solvency or anything like that, so it really is a little bit more like a formality. Important to know though is that in a lot of immigration offices across Mexico, it is taking a little bit more time. So we're seeing from like 1 week to 2 weeks to complete the process. And once the wheels are kind of in motion, you can't leave Mexico to go back to the US or Canada. You have to wait until you get your residency card. So be flexible with your timeline and kind of plan accordingly. And once you complete Kanhei and get that residency card in hand, you are finally done. Welcome to Mexico. So that's how you get Mexican residency in 2026. So just to recap, it starts with confirming that you are eligible, then create a consulate strategy, make a visa appointment, attend the appointment and nail the interview, and it ends with finishing Kanhei correctly in Mexico. Remember, this video is part 1 of our 2026 Mexico residency series here on YouTube. Also a friendly reminder, if you want all the steps that we covered here today kind of mapped out in an easy to digest downloadable document, we do have that Mexican residency cheat sheet. Check it out in the description and the top pinned comments. And if you're already kind of thinking that you need some extra help and want a custom personalized plan, we do offer residency services. So if you have any questions about that, reach out to us via email. We'll put that in the description as well. And thanks so much for watching. See you next time.